Hey, I'm Vali, and I'm hanging out with Rob on Front Row Live.
You've been in the game for quite some time. You've had lots of experience, whether it was dancing, whether it was, singing backups for other artists, or even, on Broadway. What has all that experience really taught you with the music that you're writing today?
Everything has been an inspiration for me. So growing up in theater or just being around the hip-hop scene with Wiz or other pop artists, it's all just fed my musical inspiration.
Right.
And so I think now I'm at a place where I'm ready to take my music to a new level.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you mentioned Wiz. You've been with the Rostrum family for quite some time already. Behind the scenes doing some writing with Wiz. But, leading to that point where you're at today, what was that like for you, though? Because I'm sure that's kind of, you lose patience because you want to be the artist. But what was being behind the scenes like for you?
I think being behind the scenes is the most important place because that's where you learn. Being thrown out into it can be really scary.
Right.
And I think for me, I got to watch, the process and the work that it takes for an artist to get to where someone like Wiz is,
Right. And when you're working with or collaborating with other artists, how does that really affect the way that you write today?
It's different with every artist.
Yeah.
I think it depends on, what inspires them or what they want their music to be about. I don't go into a writing session or working with another artist already having a preconceived notion of what's going to happen. So it's kind of like you have to understand what situation you're in or what artist you're working with.
Before you did backup singing for a couple artists such as Joe Walsh from the Eagles, or you've also worked with Steven Tyler, which is completely different from what you're pursuing today. Does that play a role at all in your writing process?
Absolutely. I think music is music, Steven Tyler is a genius, and so is Michael Jackson.
Right.
Totally different people, but I think their artistry and their work ethic is the same. They're both very hard workers, and I think that's what helped me even get inspired to be an artist or writer, or performer. And I think that's kind of like what I bring into my music now is the work, because that's what's most important.
And as you touched on artistry, how do you feel your artistry has grown in the last couple of years? Because you're not only older now, but you've experienced so much more in life.
I think now I have more to draw from. I think now I have people around me that inspire me to go back and see what was the root of my passion for music.
Okay. And you've had experience writing, multiple tracks back in the day. So as you're getting ready to do an EP right now, where do you see your writing? Do you see it the same as back then? Do you feel like you're still talking about the same situations you were talking before, or do you feel like you've matured a lot more?
I've definitely matured a lot more. I think my music now is more from not a real place, but a more experienced place. And I think, even my writing about love or my songs that have, been inspired by the love situations in my life are way different. And before, my music was fun and it's still really fun. We're still trying to have a good time,
Right.
But it just comes from a different place now. And like you said, once you are in the game for a longer time, you know what hits you more and what inspires you more.
Yeah. So as you're working on this upcoming EP, you just released the first track off of it, Ain't No Friend of Mine. On this EP, do you get to use I know you play piano, so do you play the piano a lot on this EP, maybe just in the writing session of it, or maybe even in the final product?
Yes. I've even written some of my songs with piano first.
Okay.
So you'll get to see that.
And what can you tell us about this EP? Have you been working with a specific producer? Are you doing this all on your own?
I've worked with a couple producers on it, T-Baby, Stephen Alex, Public School, basically just people that have gone through this journey with me and have stayed and stayed, loyal and connected to the project. Right. And I definitely feel this is a more musical EP, and even the live elements, theater art, it's more connected with the project instead of separated.
Right. And you mentioned you're working with producers that have been there since the beginning. It's amazing how many people were into you from day one, and they're still around. But what is it that you've gotten from working with these different producers, especially being in the studio with them?
I think at the end of the day, it's all about the work and doing the work. And people see that, you know, even if your project, even if you have 100 fans or you've got 1 million fans, you still have to do the work. And I think for me, those producers that have stayed by me this whole time have been the ones that have seen the work. And they know that we're not going to stop.
Yeah. Now, is it any different being the artist now for Rostrum Records than being behind the scenes? Like, do you see a different kind of feel from Rostrum?
Oh, absolutely. Even, you know, video shoots and the rehearsals that we've had, you know, they put a lot of energy into it, and they're so supportive. And Lorianne Gibson, who has basically helped put it all together, because it's a lot, it was just all over the place. And she came in and she just organized it, and the support is just so great. I couldn't be more happy with my team. So now, as we're moving forward with this EP, that hopefully it's something that's dropping this year. Definitely, yes.
Cool. Now, as we're moving forward for this EP, like, what can we expect from you? Maybe some shows, maybe some tours.
A lot of shows. I have 5 shows in the next 2 weeks.
Nice.
Tomorrow I'm in Santa Ana. A lot of them are in LA. We have more videos coming, more photos coming. It's gonna be fun.
Now, I know some artists don't enjoy the video shoot section, like portion of being an artist, as much as, you know, they do being the performer. But how do you feel whenever you're at a video shoot?
I think when you're at a video shoot, that's when the real work begins. Yeah, because you train so hard for that day, and when that day comes, you gotta nail it. Yeah.
Nice. Well, thanks for hanging out with me. I really appreciate your time. Anything you want to say for the fans that have been there since the beginning?
Thank you guys so much for everything and for being here from the beginning, and to all the new ones. I cannot wait to meet all of you on the road soon.
Cool. And you guys be sure to check out the new single. It's out now. It's called
Ain't No Friend of Mine.
And one thing that's so different about Vali from any other artists out there is?
I have gray hair. You put me on the spotlight.
I got to do it sometimes. Thanks for watching here on Front Row Live, guys. Don't forget to subscribe.